Hey everybody, how's it going? So in today's episode of New York City is a Meme, there is a massive fire that burned down an NYPD evidence locker, or part of it, in Brooklyn. There is a 3-alarm fire. From the looks over here, it looks like this is right around the area my old store used to be, and I opened a store in the Gowanus area of Brooklyn back in 2013 in January. I left it open for 7 months before realizing that was a bad idea. This looks like it's approximately in the Gowanus area. And it is a giant fire in a place that housed evidence for prosecuting criminals, which means that there is a chance that there are people that may have been being sent to prison based on the evidence of burglaries and murders they committed that will not have to be sent to prison because there's no evidence to convict them. We expect the NYPD and district attorneys to provide us a full accounting of the evidence that was damaged and to immediately inform defense counsel about individual cases that may have been impacted, said Redmond Haskins, a spokesman for the Legal Aid Society, one of the city's largest providers of legal services for indigent clients. And again, I do believe in the idea that it is better that 99 criminals go free than one innocent man be behind bars in prison for something they didn't do. And if you don't have evidence, you can't convict people. It doesn't mean that this doesn't suck. It says that the facility holds biological evidence for cold cases going back as far as 30 years, including DNA from unsolved burglaries and possibly murders. And it also does say that everything inside the facility was either lost or destroyed from the fire chief. This fire had over 100 firefighters working on it, and it seems the reason for that is because this building is sealed off with few doors or windows for water to penetrate from the outside. Now, I would imagine if you have a building that is housing 30 years worth of crime evidence, that you want to minimize the amount of ways that people can break into that building. But the downside of that is going to be that if you have minimal ways to break into that building because it's made like a fortress, there are also minimal ways to get people into it to put out the fire or bring water into that building or anything else you would use to douse a fire. The interesting thing here is trying to figure out how this fire started. So it says that the workers noticed what appeared to be a fire started on a storage shelf and reported it to the police. Then the fire department was called in. And this building doesn't just house normal, like basic DNA evidence from burglaries. A lot of what it houses appear to be cars and motorbikes. So this houses vehicles that have been seized as part of investigations, electric bikes, and illegal motorbikes. Now, as I talked about in a recent video, New York is trying to solve the problem of electric bike fires by banning repair because that's totally going to fix the problem. I talked about that with a friend of mine in this video that I did about a week or two ago. You can watch it here if you're interested. I try to dive into why I think e-bikes are actually going on fire and some things that could actually be done to try to fix it rather than the garbage legislation that New York City proposed, as they tend to propose garbage legislation on virtually every topic because it's New York City. But what would be really a kick in the nuts here is if they figure out that this happened as a result of an electric bicycle. Like somebody was again, what would you put on a shelf? So electric bikes are not going to be on a shelf. But you could take the battery out of the bike and put it on a shelf. Was somebody charging a bike? Let's be real here. What goes on fire from a shelf? I understand like an oily rag in a kitchen or something like that, but like what goes on fire on an evidence shelf in a place that stores DNA, motorbikes, electric bikes, and cars? Like, it would be really sad if the entire evidence locker got burned down because of improper storage, charging, or utilization of a poorly put together electric bike battery. And my God, like the amount, it would really suck if one of the coolest forms of city transportation were known as the method by which 30 years of evidence for serious crimes was thrown away, resulting in a bunch of people being let out of prison or jail that then go on to commit crimes in the names of an electric bike. So I'm really hoping that that's not the case here, but I guess we'll find out with time. I'm just trying to think to myself, what would go on fire that's sitting on a shelf? Anyway, exactly what New York City needs right now is a legal, justified, constitutionally protected justification to let criminals out of prison. Yay. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. That's it for today, and as always, I hope you learned something.